So, speaking of which, are we ready? Are we ready to talk about this?
Yeah.
Because it has to be talked about.
Oh,
Because
right.
there's a lot of stuff out there that I don't think that the people have heard, because you get these little quick clips from ESPN, and yeah, they are bad, but they aren't quite as bad as the full story. So let's talk about, everybody, if you haven't, get your popcorn ready, whatever you need to just kind of hang out and listen to a really good spat here. But Jimbo Fisher, Nick Saban, if you've been living under a rock, had an interesting back and forth through the media, which we'll listen to now. I have a few clips here, starting with Saban's comments at a 50-day countdown event for the World Games.
But I know the consequence is going to be difficult for the people who are spending tons of money to get players. And you've read about them. You know who they are. I mean, we were second in recruiting last year. A&M was first. A&M bought every player on their team, made a deal for name, image, and likeness. All right, we didn't buy one player. All right, but I don't know if we're going to be able to sustain that in the future, because more and more people are doing it.
All right, that was on May the 18th. The day after, May 19th, Jimbo Fisher calls a press conference to fire back.
The narcissist in him doesn't allow those things to happen. And it's ridiculous. But when he's not on top, and the parity in college football he's been talking about, go talk to coaches who coach for him. You'll find out all the parity. Go dig into wherever he's been. You can find out anything. We built him up to be the czar of football. Go dig into his past, or anybody that's ever coached with him. You can find out anything you want to find out, what he does and how he does it. And it's despicable. And I know the guy, know him really well. It's the second time we've had to do this with grown men who don't get their way and want to pout, throw a fit, and act up. Just go ask all the people who work for him. You'll know exactly what he's about. I always said this. My dad always told me this. When people show you who they are, believe them. He's showing you who he is.
Have you had any contact with Nick since?
No. Oh, he's called.
You just didn't take the call?
Not going to. We're done.
And
he shows you who he is.
and then I just wanted to.
He's the greatest ever, huh?
And then I just wanted
When you
to
got all the advantages, it's easy. Listen, you coach with people like Bobby Bowden and learn how to do things. You coach with other people and learn how not to do things. There's a reason people don't go, I ain't went back and worked for him with opportunities.
Coach back behind the
Don't be
lights.
associated with it. And what's funny, in that talk, right before he said that about us, wasn't he soliciting funds from the crowd? It's amazing, wasn't it?
To the left, Rob.
When you walk on water, I guess, it don't matter. I'm not defending anybody. I'm just giving you the truth. Because I have nothing to hide. I have nothing to hide, and our program has nothing to hide. It'd be interesting if everybody could say that. Listen, I'm going to tell you one thing. You can call me anything you want to call me. You ain't calling me a cheat. I don't cheat and I don't lie. So I learned that when I was a kid. If you did, the old man slapped you side of the head. Maybe somebody should have slapped him.
And that one just builds and gets better as it goes
that
on.
One reporter has just one question that his editor needs him to get, and he's trying desperately to get it and breathing so hard to get it.
Oh, right. I was going to say props to whoever, I guess it was that guy, breathing so loudly during that recording. It's just trying their best.
But did you...
Well, hold on. Let's pause for a devil's advocate moment, okay? Grant, would you like to role play with me?
Sure.
I never thought another man would ask me that, but sure.
I was waiting for let's imagine that you are a coach for a respected institution. Let's say that I am also a football coach for another respected institution. Okay. All right. Coach Grant, you had the #1 recruiting class in college football this year, but with the new NIL stuff, you guys bought every single player on your team. Why would you do such a low down thing? Explain yourself.
Because it's allowed. We're allowed to do that, and so we did it. We have the money, and so we did it. And I'm building a powerhouse team. Thank you.
You know what? It could have been solved with that, right?
Yeah. Honesty is everything.
But no, Jimbo decided to call that conference. Okay, so that was May 19th. Saban,
I feel like when you call a conference, you're just giving validity to what's being said. Like if you have to yell that loud to defend yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no,
Is that what you wanted me to say? I'm trying to.
No, I honestly just wanted to.
Great job.
I was gonna say,
Thank
I just
you.
wanted to hear
Yeah.
what you thought, honestly.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Um,
I did it.
There you go. And then so May 31st, so the Jimbo press conference was May the 19th. Saban on May 31st said this.
I didn't really say that anybody did anything wrong.
You said they bought their recruiting class.
I didn't say anybody did anything wrong, okay? And I've said everything I'm going to say about this, but, you know, I think that, you know, I guess the point, and I should have never mentioned any individual institutions, I said that before, but, you know, some kind of uniform name, image, and likeness, you know, standard that supports some kind of equitable national competition, I think is really, really important in college athletics and college football.
So comments are becoming a little bit more responsible at this point.
Oh, PR got involved immediately.
Yeah.
The crisis management team at both institutions got called in early as hell.
Yeah. No doubt. I mean, yeah. So that was May the 31st. And then, so Jimbo on June the 1st, after apparently having some dialogue with Saban, said this.
We spoke very in the beginning, and he's been what he accused us of. You know, both things. We said it's over with. We're done talking about it and what happens, and we're moving on to the future, what goes on, and try to fix the problems of what we have in college football. We're a lot more pressing needs than our arguments.
So the master of clarity, we spoke very in the beginning, and he's, what he accused us of. It's Jimbo. You just never know what he's going to say.
He doesn't know what he's going to say. That's the problem.
No, but he said, I'm kind of the reporter's dream. Number one, I guess he does, you know, he never knows what he's going to say, so it could be some crazy headlines. But then also, he talks so fast. He gets in so much information in such a short period of time. So, Grant, did you have any thoughts so far about the goings on?
Not really. You know, I kind of followed it a little bit, and then I was like, this is dumb. I was like, why are they fighting about any of this? But I mean, it's going to make the, you know, things on the field a lot more interesting, especially, like I said, given the results of last season, especially. I'm sure Jesse's looking forward to seeing a bloodbath there.
Yeah. Well, SEC Media Days in July is the last clip that I have kind of as a bookend on this. And Jimbo had some even more interesting comments.
Listen, we're great. We two competitive guys that go at it. Listen, we all learn from things we do in our business. You got two competitive guys on a topic that is very everywhere, as they say. There's no rules in this thing and where it goes, and each state has different laws and everything. And I have great respect for Nick and thing. You know, that's unfortunately our thing went public, and that's sometimes that happens in this world. Nothing's private anymore, is it? Anyway, but no, we have great respect for Nick, and we all learn from him. We all will learn. Like he said, he will learn. Hopefully, I learn from things we do and say, and we move on from there. But have great respect for him and their program, like always.
So I love the transition. At one point you have, he's a narcissist. He's a terrible, terrible dude. He's despicable. And then you have, oh yeah, we're good. Got great respect for Nick. One thing, this is the funniest thing to me. So he said, you know, unfortunately ours went public. Nothing's private anymore, is it? Well, Jimbo, the reason that it's public is because you called a press conference to talk about it publicly. Like, yep. It's not a mystery, right?
And it's, I mean, Saban said the whole time, whether you agree with him or not, he's consistent. He doesn't like NIL. Now, do our players have it? Yeah. They're getting paid for name, image, and likeness. They have brand sponsorships and all that stuff now. And I think he made a good point. He didn't say anybody did anything wrong. It's legal to do. And I think where Jimbo Fisher in this last clip was a little misguided is there are rules for it. He's like, there's no rules. Well, there's rules. There is rules. And we're going to continue to get an evolution of rules because this is new. There's going to be screw ups. There's going to be things that nobody thought of that you're going to have to think about and that are going to come out. And technology is constantly changing. Brand deals, advertisements, always changing. We're going to have to develop even more rules. And yes, different states have some variations on them. And it'll be interesting when the federal government comes out and actually has some, you know, overarching rules, but there are NIL rules, Jimbo. So maybe maybe read them or talk to a SID or something. but I think you have two kind of old school football coaches, one that just fully embraces NIL money and all that stuff. And that makes sense. He's in Texas. Look at his contract. That's his thing. And Nick Saban is not that way. Our players, like I said, they do have NIL and that is what it is, but he's not going to focus on that. And I think maybe the point he was trying to make in one of those clips is that, and we talked about it in our NIL episode, and no matter what people try to say, oh, NIL is going to benefit some players more than others, and people disagree that it won't, it will. It's going to benefit some institutions more than others. It's going to benefit certain sports more than others and players more than others. It doesn't matter. That's just the way it is. And the moment everybody just agrees to that and understands that that's the case and stop trying to put like rose-colored glasses on and pretend that, the field hockey, women's field hockey in some super small Northeastern school is going to get the same sponsorship that the quarterback at Alabama is, it's just misguided. And
unless there's some booster that's just really passionate about women's field hockey.
Yeah. Like, the owners of Google are super big women's field hockey fans. Like, it's just not going to happen. So I think that's maybe what he was getting at is there's going to be in programs, things are going to be not equal and not fair, and recruiting will get complicated. And I'm sure for a lot of old coaches, regardless of sport, they are probably very frustrated at the NIL thing because it does complicate their jobs. It does complicate their ability to recruit. And it's going to add a lot of distraction to players. It's going to be convoluted. And as we get into it in these first couple of years, it's going to be even worse. So I get it. And we all know how I feel about Jimbo Fisher, and for him to say that he's not a despicable human and he's never lied or covered anything up. I'm always going to look and say Jameis Winston at FSU, and I'm never going to let it go.
Waiting for that.
And I will argue tooth and nail with someone on it. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I, for one, am circling that October 8th. I cannot wait to watch. I assume it'll be that 8:00 CBS slot. I hope it is, because the entire country is going to be wants to watch, especially after last year. So
if things go wrong in the way I don't want to go on October 8th, I'm just going to eat a shoe.
I'm going to eat a shoe. Wow. We have that on recording. Jesse will eat a shoe. And which one is the question? We'll have to figure out what kind.
I'll eat Will Anderson's cleat. I just don't even want to be here.
Oh gosh.